Hello everybody, Brad here today and welcome back to City Skylines. I hope you're all doing okay. So in our last episode, what we were working on is our train station over here, which I'm pretty happy with. I think it's turned out quite nicely. I have added this parking lot in here. I felt like, and someone had mentioned in the comments that it looks nice, but they also thought that it needed like more parking. So I put this here. I know it's not like right next door, but again, I don't think that's too unrealistic. That seems to be, again, quite a common thing here in the UK, to kind of get your parking spaces and your car parks away from your stores and train stations and whatever. So I was pretty happy with that. So what I'd like to do today is kind of really try and expand our housing capacity, because we haven't got enough workers here at the Lidl. We've got 5 out of 60. And at the Sainsbury's we've got 41 out of 120. And I know like we've got a few mods that should stop these buildings from going abandoned because there's not enough workers. But I still feel like, I mean, at least for me to have kind of satisfaction that we're doing the right things in the game, aesthetically, with things looking realistic. I also want the city to kind of act realistically, so I'd quite like to get the amount of workers that we need to get for these kind of stores. So I've just started to chuck it down here in the game. So what I've done is I've come over here and I've popped in this flat building. This rain looks cool. Oh, I like the rain, especially, I mean guys, we're building a UK city, right? So rain is realistic. Look at that, it looks really cool. I like that. It's killing the frame rate a little bit, but it does look cool. Yeah, so I got in this flat building here, and that's what I wanted to work on today, is kind of getting a few of these flat buildings, getting some car parks, gardens around these flats, and then kind of seeing how long that will take. And then if we've got enough time, I'd quite like to at least start doing some kind of farmland area and kind of more rural villages. I'd quite like to start doing some like villages out of the way of the town with a few little farmhouses, you know, bits and bobs like that. So without further ado, let's get stuck in, and we'll start with this flat building just here. We'll get in some gardens, we'll get in a little car park, and we'll see how many flats we can get, because these are going to really increase the amount of housing and population we can have in our city. I've literally just popped this flat down, look, and the police are already there. It's too realistic, it's too realistic. Right, I'm going to get stuck in with doing some building. So we're going to start off here, guys, kind of just figuring out how we want this flat building to look. I'm just going to turn the rain off. It looks amazing when you're kind of taking screenshots and stuff, but when you're trying to build, it can kind of get in your way. So I'll just turn the dynamic weather off. So at first here, I'm just trying to plan out some roads, kind of trying to decide where we want the parking to be, if we want to have some space for a garden, or if we want to fill all the space in with just more buildings. So in the end, we have a nice parking lot on the side, and we also have a bit of a garden out the back with some garages. So here we go. Started off with a little parking lot there, then kind of just building a path around so people can get to all areas of the building. So we've gone for a fairly, well actually no, that parking lot probably is about right. That size is probably about right. And gardens, again, are kind of, they're difficult. So you can see here, I'm kind of toying with the idea of, you know, do I go with a garden? Do I just put a house there? The house, because we're on a curved road, the house didn't look great. So I think it definitely lends itself more to going towards having a garden. So in the end, we have a small garden. Again, it's nothing special. We're just doing a fence here. And the fence has got a gate as well. So we've got a gate on. And a really, really simple fence around the outside, really. Then we've got a shed. I think we keep the shed, but we definitely get a couple of garages. I mean, I actually used to live in a flat building very similar to this. Kind of like a 3-storey, actually very similar, 3-storey flat building, car park on the side, small garden out the back with garages. So it definitely is realistic. So I literally have lived in something very similar to this. So I thought, well, what we could do, we could go with like a shed, have the manicured grass decal with some benches and stuff, but to be honest, that I didn't really feel like that was realistic. So what we actually do is we actually get some garages in here, and we kind of just concrete this whole area out the back, which probably isn't pretty. I mean, it isn't pretty. but I think it's the easiest. I'm just going to be honest, it's the easiest thing to do, but I do honestly believe it probably is the most realistic as well. And at the back here in the corner, it's like a pile of rubble. Again, you know, these kind of car parks, they're not, a lot of them aren't well maintained. So we're using a few decals here, a few of the cracked decals, a bit like the ruined ground decal, just to make it look a little bit more realistic, but I think it looks pretty good. Now what we're doing here is we're adding a few of the car props on the side. Again, just to try and make it look as realistic as possible. You know, a few cars, a Sainsbury's delivery van outside. I thought it looked pretty good. So in here, I'm kind of just looking at other props. So we're getting a few wheelie bins. Again, just things that you would see. You know, you would see wheelie bins. I always remember when I lived in a flat building, we always had that like staring contest with other people, like who are going to take the bins out. And then you always think that you take the bins out. Someone else always thinks that they take the bin out. It's complicated. It's complicated. So here we're just putting a really simple fence around the parking lot. We're just tidying it up with a bit of a ploppable pavement there, just to make sure that it goes to the fence edge. And again, I have a few of these areas, these kind of like corner areas where I don't really know what to do with them. So I've got another one now. I'm not really sure what to do with them. And then what we're just trying to do here is just trying to plan it out, you know, just trying to plan, make sure that we're getting in buildings, we're getting in anything actually, making sure we're getting in buildings that kind of fit the area, if that makes sense. You know, like there, like we had like some of those Soviet buildings which look amazing, but they're too tall. They're just way too tall. So I really like these flat buildings. These are kind of, you know, really common in like towns. These kind of flat buildings, these kind of, again, 3-story, kind of a flat on each side. They normally hold about 6 flats. And then again, we're just kind of trying to get like a nice garden area at the back. Simple but realistic, if that makes sense. You know, you don't want to go too crazy with this. And again, we're plopping down a couple of garages. And here we actually placed down a burnt out car, which again, I think it looks pretty cool. You know, I'm not saying that on every estate in the UK there's a burnt out car, because hopefully there isn't. But I don't want to just leave blank spaces everywhere. So I thought that's quite cool, even it's, you know, a bit morbid just to assume that there's a burnt out car everywhere. So again, here we're just popping down some grass for a washing line, a couple of benches, really simple, nothing too crazy at all. And then a couple of bushes in the corner. We could have done like the patio or something, but I thought the grass looked quite nice. So just trying to, the thing is with this manicured grass is it hasn't got a straight edge, so it's quite difficult to make the edge look good and realistic. So again, here just popping down a few cracks in the concrete just to make it look a little bit more realistic. So what we're going to do here is we're going to extend our road. We're using I think this is the suburban, you know, 2-lane, one in each direction, double yellow road. Very, very common here in the UK. So again here, I'm just kind of flicking through the houses that I've got downloaded and just putting down those houses that fit the area again. So I'm just going to keep repeating the same things. I'll try not to. But I'm just trying to put things down that look realistic, you know. So what we actually end up doing here is we pop down a couple of shops and a pub. I think we pop down a Premier, like a newsagent's. We pop down a Poundland and a pub, I believe. And then we're kind of again just trying to find some houses, some taller houses. I think we're getting some 3-story kind of townhouses. Again, just to make it look a bit more realistic. The flats are awesome because we get into more flat buildings, as you'll see. And the great things about those is obviously that they can contain more than one household. So the largest one we get, I think, contains 70 households, which is perfect. I keep checking the Sainsbury's and the Lidl, just to see kind of what stage we're at with trying to fill the jobs that we have. And I've got no abandonment on, and I've made the buildings historical, so they're not going to be destroyed due to not having enough workers. However, I feel like, even though I have the mod, I feel like I need to try and get all of our metrics and numbers and populations and employment numbers balanced. I don't like using the word OCD because I don't have OCD. Well, I don't think I have OCD. I don't like using it out of context. But I kind of have this obsession of trying to fill all of the open jobs and stuff like that. So these are the townhouses that we've got in here. Again, they look really cool. I'm pretty sure I only just found them, like in my using Find It. I don't know if I recently subscribed to it or if I've been subscribed to these townhouses all along. I just didn't know. So again, putting in some car parks. We do a lot of car parks. I'm trying to be a good town planner, guys. I'm trying to get loads of parking in for everyone, because I know how bloody frustrating it is when you're trying to get to somewhere and there's just no parking anywhere. Or there's parking like it's always residents only, or there's always restrictions, aren't there? So here we're just using a bit of Move It, spending a little bit of time just to make it look right. Again, I think it's worth the time. I don't want to be spending like an episode. So like this episode is roughly 25 minutes long-ish. And this probably takes recording, you're probably looking at just under 2 hours worth of like in-game building. Obviously then you've got to have the time for editing, exporting, and then uploading to YouTube. You definitely, being a YouTuber, you get an appreciation of how long it takes to create videos. It's very, very easy, and I done it to kind of think, why is this person not uploading more? Like, I wish they'd upload more. It's tough, guys, especially when the weather's so lovely outside. You want to be outside, having a drink outside, or playing sport. It's not that I don't want to play the games. I love these games, but videos take time. Okay, so I'm sorry I'm not uploading as much at the moment. But there's just other things going on, guys, so I'm sorry about that, but you definitely get an appreciation of how long it takes to create videos, and especially good videos. I don't think my videos are that great. I can enough guarantee that other YouTubers spend a massive amount of time on videos, so it's always greatly appreciated when we get great feedback, because it means so much. It means the time's worth it. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. I want to try and spend the time actually doing something that looks good. I downloaded the Surface Painter. As you can see, I'm using it here. Oh my lord, is this giving me a headache trying to make it look good. The Surface Painter is great because it's so easy to use. You literally, you can paint down concrete, grass, anything you want. However, it does it on a strange square basis. So I was finding it really difficult to make it look smooth. And as you can see here, we're actually about to smooth out some terrain. Again, it's something that I need to get better at. I find it difficult to make things look great when there's a gradient in the terrain. I just can't quite make it get to look how I want it to look, if that makes sense. So unfortunately is it cheating? I don't think it's cheating, is it? But I do try and flatten out areas kind of as much as I can before building. It just makes it so much easier to put stuff down, and I personally believe it makes it so much easier to make things look good. So what we're going to see here is we're going to start working on a new flat building. I can't remember how many households this holds. I did just have a look, but obviously because it's ×6 speed, we couldn't see. I would guess that this is around 50 households, 30 to 50 I think, I'm not too sure. But again, we're just kind of working on a little bit of like car parking, then working out how much space we have around this building, and then what we can use that space for. So do we use it for lots of car parking? Do we use it for a car park and a garden? Do we use it for housing? So we're kind of just making sure that we kind of evaluate how much space we have and using it in the best way we can. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a little bit of housing either side at the back, as you can see, and then what we're actually going to do is we're going to use these areas and these houses to be kind of our boundaries for our garden. So you can see here we're popping in a few fences, making sure it looks as good as possible, and I'm getting our little border out for our garden. Again, the gardens are really difficult. I don't know, it's probably just me, guys, it's probably just me, but I feel like I don't have enough props and stuff for the gardens. I kind of go to every garden with a shed, a barbecue, some chairs, and these gardens here of the townhouses look great because they're small, and because they're small you can kind of go, right, in this small garden or courtyard we need to put down a patio, a bench, a barbecue, done. Looks great because you've got that small amount of space. But these big gardens I really find difficult to to get them to look right and realistic. So here in the car park, again, we're just going to put down a couple of car parks that cars aren't actually going to use. They're just a decal, just like, you know, like a sticker on the ground. But again, it just means that we haven't got so much of these kind of like dead spaces that kind of are not doing anything. And here, I spent quite a long time here trying to decide, do I utilise this area for houses behind the garden? It's like a 1x1 or a 1x2, and it was not going to work. It was never going to work. So in the end, we pop in the fence, we put in the garden, and then I think here, we pop in a wall, and then we have like a little area that's concrete with a few benches, a telephone box, a couple of bins. You know, it's kind of areas where people kind of just chill out, wait for their mate, you know, wait to meet someone. So I'm finding that quite difficult, kind of filling out those dead spaces. I'm just finding it difficult to know what to fill it out with. So here you can see it's a really simple garden, couple of patios, couple of benches and a barbecue. Just trying to keep it really, really simple. I stick in a little bit of foliage here and again. But yeah, I thought this would probably just be quite, wild's definitely not the word, but it'd probably be fairly unkept. You know, it's quite a lot of, it's quite a big space out here. So it probably would just be kind of grass that, you know, people can kind of do what they want on, really. So you can see here, I'm kind of looking through the houses, seeing if anything would fit. I moved this house, but I don't believe it looks right. So I delete it in the end, and then we concrete the whole area, pop in a few benches, pop in a telephone box, and we're just adding a little bit of foliage over here again, just to really cover up those blank areas. Actually, I think it looks pretty good in the end. We try and get a path in. I thought, well, maybe we could do like a back entrance, but it just doesn't work. The path kind of cuts at the fence. So having a concrete area and a few benches, a few bins, a telephone box, I think it looks okay in the end. I'm really happy with the brick wall. I'm pretty sure the brick walls are made by Rick 4000, the absolute legend of a modder. And I think it looks pretty good in the end. I'm really, really happy with it. It's very common in the UK to kind of find these areas. What else would you have there in the UK? Trying to think of any props that we have, like, you know, like in real life, but not in the UK. Not really, I suppose. No, these areas would probably tend to be quite overgrown and kind of like left to the wild, which are really good. You know, that really helps the kind of ecosystems. You know, things like bugs and other animals to kind of have a habitat that hopefully isn't going to get damaged too much. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out in the end. And you can see there, I was just checking the Lidls and the Sainsbury's again, just to see if we were kind of making a dent within the jobs. And we're definitely making a dent. So here's the last flat building that we're going to place in the game today. And this holds a whopping 70 households, I believe. So it really helps with our kind of population numbers. As you can see here, we're just trying to fix the aftermath of using the surface painter. It does this strange thing where if you pop down asphalt or concrete, you know, whatever you want to call it, and then you don't like it, if you put grass over it, it actually also changes the asphalt and the concrete on the side of the road. So it doesn't look great. So what we're doing here is we're trying to just make some finishing touches to these townhouses, and we add a couple more in, and then what we'll do is we'll spend a little bit of time just adding that ploppable pavement to the side of the road, as you can see here. Overlaps a little bit with a couple of the gardens, but I think it definitely looks better than just leaving it blank, in my opinion. That's my opinion. See, it overlaps there a little bit, but it's not too bad. And then again with this flat, we kind of spend a little bit of time just working out what we want to do around it, you know, the car parks, the gardens, all that kind of jazz. And in the end, I think this one looks pretty cool. It's fairly bare outside. It would look really good to have some kind of flowers and different plants out in the front of this flat building. You'll see, yeah, so kind of like, you know, up the front there. But I'm not great at foliage, and I know that if I try it, it'll just look crap. So I thought, right, let's get a nice big parking lot on the side, which fills up pretty much instantly. And I'm kind of just doing the finishing touches with the pavements. And we also add some more concrete with kind of like the custom decal parking again, just to make sure that we have a few bits there where we can pop in some propped cars if we wanted to. And then what we do is we don't do a garden for this one, but we can do something out the front. Maybe I tried to put in the vanilla flower beds, but again it looked absolutely horrendous. So we might need to do a few bits out the front. So a couple of dumpsters, a couple of wheelie bins out the back there, and here in the front we're just popping in some paths, so when people are walking across the grass, you know, towards the flat, it looks a bit more realistic that they're actually walking on a path, not just walking over the grass. So here again, just filling out the blank spaces. So we get a few semi-detached houses in here, and behind them, so in between these and those townhouses at the back, I was trying to get that kind of like a path going through, but again, unfortunately, because I'm crap at using the surface painter, I didn't know of an easy way to get the asphalt back for the path. You know, you can use like the ploppable pavement, but because it's squares, the curves would look horrible. So I thought, you know what, it's probably just not worth it. Again, what I can do is, and maybe in the next episode, or you know, whenever I get a little bit of time, what I'll do is I can go to these areas and we'll kind of make them look a bit overgrown with some shrubs and stuff like that. So again, we're just fixing the front with the surface painter, but that looks all good now. And then we again pop in this kind of brick wall, which I think looks pretty good in the end, with some more benches, bins, you know, that kind of stuff. It's kind of just those like miscellaneous items that look pretty good, I think, anyway. So we're just going to do that, move the hedge out of the way, add in some ploppable pavement, and then we'll add the benches and the other bits and bobs. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to leave you to some music until we have a little bit of a look of what we've done today in our episode. Hello everyone, I really hope you enjoyed the time lapse. So what I'm going to do is just briefly show you what we've kind of been doing in this episode, a little bit closer up and obviously in real time, so you haven't got to see it so sped up. So obviously what we've been doing is really kind of focusing on our housing today. So we've got this little bit here, I've added these little shops with this little brick wall. I was pretty happy with this actually, I think this turned out quite nice. Some more houses here, a block of flats in here with a garden in the back, just a really small simple garden. And then again we've added some parking on the side. I think that looks pretty cool actually, I was pretty happy with that. And then again behind this we've got out the larger block of flats, and this houses a lot of people. 70 households can actually fit in there. And obviously we've got some kind of farmer or farm contract living in these flats as well, with the tractor just there. I really love how this road splits into the single yellow line for the bustle as well. That looks really, really cool. And then what I've done is in a lot of these areas there's quite a lot of green space that I don't really know what to do with. So what I've done is in a few of them I've added like custom car parks, so cars won't actually come and park here, but still I personally just think that looks a little bit better than lots of green space. Obviously green space is great, but I don't think you want too much of that. And then down here we've got a couple of terraced, like kind of semi-detached houses. We've got I really like these style of flats. These are really, really common in the UK. I thought they looked quite cool. And I was actually fairly happy with how these garages turn out here, with like this burnt out car. Again, it doesn't look pretty, but this is meant to be more I mean, when I say realistic, the problem is you're always going to get people say that's not realistic. And no, it's not 100% realistic, but I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. And in some places in the UK, unfortunately, in the rougher areas, you get stuff like this. Doesn't mean it's a bad place to live. I've lived in some interesting places in my life, and sometimes, do you know what, sometimes, you might not agree with me, but I think sometimes, I don't like the word rough, but the rougher areas, the people are sometimes actually a lot nicer there. They're normally a lot more down to earth, which I really, really like. And then we've got this block of flats over here that we saw at the beginning of the time lapse with the little car park. Now we've just started this little road here. I've added a few shops and a pub. Again, I think this is quite realistic, in these kind of like neighbourhoods, you have a few shops here and there. You kind of have like your town centre. We've kind of got a town centre. I can't want this to be the town centre over here, and we've got lots and lots of work to do here. But it's quite realistic for you to have like odd shops here and there, especially things like Premier. Maybe not Poundland as such, but definitely things like Premier you do, and obviously pubs. Pubs are everywhere. And I really like these houses here. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit different, but I thought they looked pretty cool. So again, pretty happy with how they turned out. The burglar alarms look really cool on the front of those. So yeah, we didn't really do anything kind of major in this episode, but do you know what? What we did do, I'm actually really happy with. I think that's turned out quite nicely. So what I think I'm going to do is in the next episode, I think it'd be great to start focusing on our farm areas. I do need to download a few assets for our farm, so like you awesome people have already done, please feel free to comment down below with any assets that you enjoy with farming. I might have a few already, but feel free to comment down below with any farm assets or farming assets. That would be very much appreciated. So I really hope you take care of yourselves, guys. I really hope to see you again in our next episode. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel down below if you haven't done so already. And please feel free to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Have a great day. See you later.